All right, so I would like to welcome our guest speaker today. This is Mr. Kevin Meek. Kevin, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Besides being Chris Thayer's best friend, I am the one of the owners and the CEO of a company called Z2, which is a publisher and music merchandise company. Basically, like we work with some of the biggest names in music and entertainment to put out stories they want to tell. So like we work with Gorillaz, we work with Machine Gun Kelly, Vince Staples, all sorts of awesome artists, and we develop these beautiful sort of I'll show you graphic novels with them. So like this is our Gorillas Almanac. You can open it, check it out here. See, it's a nice big art book that that Jamie Hewlett himself created. Worked with D.O. Got a book, Holy Diver, with him, or his estate rather, in Flames. And if you guys like the Wu-Tang Clan, RZA on Bobby Digital. So we also do stuff like custom vinyl. So Grateful Dead, we worked with them on vinyl, RZA, Cypress Hill. So it's a lot of putting out really cool art and collectibles for fans of these musicians and other entertainers.
So let's go back to the beginning. How did you get started in all of this? Like, what brought you into this world?
I mean, it's sort of a funny story. I'm a lawyer by trade. I worked as a lawyer for law firms for over a decade. And I kind of also had a creative itch. I did my own little side hustle, and through that I met the founders of Z2, and they became a client of mine for legal services. So I negotiated things like an option agreement, an agreement with Universal Music, stuff with them, and I kind of saw the growth that they had. They'd gone from pretty much being a basement publisher that had a small booth at, Comic-Con, to dealing with some of the biggest names in all of entertainment. And so they came to me as they were growing, and they said, look, we're working 70 hours a week and we need another partner, basically. And that's kind of how I came on board. And so through, sometime later, I ended up becoming the CEO, and the company's grown from 3 people to, at one point we had 30 people. And we've put out about 75 different graphic novels with different artists, and also toys and other merch. So, that's kind of how it got started. You just never know what opportunities are going to come your way. And, that's the great thing about life.
Well, and you're being modest in your beginnings that you had a creative itch. I actually have some of your books here. Share them with these guys because there is some adult content because they are very irreverent. But when I met you, you and your partner in this stuff, Vic, I was sort of blown away by how good you both were at sales, and had kind of these silly books that you were doing. Man versus Rock was the one you had at that time, about a guy who thought the rocks were taking over the world. And the way I remember you saying, it was like Independence Day, but instead of aliens, it's rocks. And it's a totally bizarre premise. But you guys were selling these things hand over fist.
Yeah.
And it moved away.
Yeah, I mean, I remember meeting you for the first time. I mean, that's how you never know what's going to happen in life, and that's kind of, I never had no expectation other than I wanted to do something fun with one of my best friends. So he just kind of put some ridiculous story out to paper and did the Comic-Con scene, and it just, even though I didn't think, oh, I'm going to now adapt this thing into a movie or anything like that, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to people. I enjoyed sharing art with people, and you meet great people, present company excluded. You meet awesome people, and like I said, I that's how I met the founders of the company I'm with. So it literally changed my life doing this kind of thing. It's kind of funny. I had no expectation for it at all, and it changed my life.
Well, and coming back to you, you had a huge impact on my company because we became friends and we were doing all of the California, like Southern California conventions. And because of you not being able to go to Seattle, we took over your table and made the jump to travel to bigger cities and bigger shows. And we probably wouldn't have done that for another 3 to 5 years. And we just kind of took a chance. So, you guys had a huge impact on us. And we like to think that at some point we'll have an impact on a lot of other creators as well. And that's one of the cool parts of this community is that there is a lot of helping out the guy coming up behind you.
If you do it for the right reasons, it's a really fun, awesome experience. If you do it because you believe in what you're doing, you like what you're doing, and you just want to share your art with other people and you get a kick out of it, then it will take you a lot further than you probably think. You can kind of tell at these conventions, the ones that are there because they just want to build an IP that they think is gonna, and they're hoping to get something developed, and that's like a lottery ticket. Maybe it's happened once or twice, but that's not the rule. That's the exception. But if you come into it just seeing what it's gonna do, and I think in most things in life that's it, and then you never know what it's gonna take you. And that's the thing. Like I said, that's a great thing about life.
Yeah, and we are constantly amazed at how many people come into the convention scene and the comic scene and they do a couple books and then they just sort of disappear. And it's folks like you that are in it for the right reasons that tend to stick around a lot longer because they're not expecting that instant success. They're in it because they love the connection that you make with people.
Grind, man. It's a grind.
Well, speaking of which, what is your daily grind like now? Like
hitting my head with a hammer over and over and over again. No, it's a lot. So our company, we fulfill a lot of orders every year, and we create a lot of content, and there are a lot of things we need to do. I wake up every morning and I generally have a call with investors or with accountants at 6 a.m. to go over our capital and our financial records. I have meetings with production every morning. I have meetings with licensors. I have a meeting with RZA's manager for lunch today. We have a lot of employees at our company, so there's a lot of things always going on. It's kind of hard to cherry pick what a day is like, but I know it's going to be a full day. And I'm a parent as well, so I like to make time for my kids. So pretty much all my day is segmented between making sure that these books are going on time, that everything's good with production, that our company is growing, and that we're putting we're investing in our future. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up. I wish I could share with you guys, but since this is recorded, I'm not going to.
It's like talking to Disney.
What's that?
It's hush hush. It's like talking to Disney.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but we've got our biggest project to date coming up in a couple months. So between actually like negotiating contracts with the licensors or the artists, and then hiring freelance artists and writers to help write the book, and employee issues, and then dealing with manufacturing of the book and fulfillment of the book. We have a warehouse in Denver that we own and we fulfill out of. There's a lot to do that keeps me busy.
So kind of a generic question, but what is the best part of what you do? And on the flip side, what's the worst part of what you do?
The best part of what I do is talking to, such amazing high school kids. Like,
oh, come on now. Seriously.
I mean, look how enthralled they all are right now. Beautiful. So no, the best part of what I do is when I get the books, I see what we're doing. The best part of what I do is when we get comments from bands or or purchasers that love what we did. Also, it's cool to meet some of these people. We had Weird Al Yankovic at our office in Culver City to sign his book last year, and he was one of the nicest people I've ever met, and just such a humble, nice guy. And it's cool to get those experiences. One of the things I always do is that, like, whenever I meet anybody, I have things signed for my kids because I want them to win show and tell one
Right.
day. So they just, whether they have like a Major Lazer book signed, or a D Snyder book signed. It's kind of cool. So that part's great. The worst part about my job is that it never ends. You can't carve time for yourself. Like, tomorrow I've got more meetings, and even when you're not really, it's hard to be present with other things that while you've got a lot of things going on at the company. So the work-life balance is really tough.
I experienced that as well. I feel like even though, and I've been accused of never being able to chill. Like, I have zero chill. And even when I'm trying to relax, I'm working on something either physically or in my brain.
Yeah,
Turning it off is hard.
it is. I mean, I'm sure that, as your students grow older, they'll kind of see it too. Life's a compromise. You have to figure out what you're gonna, time is always a limited resource. You have to figure out what you're going to spend it on. And so it's important to me to spend time with my family. So that's, like, always going to have a place. But then besides that, yeah, I'm on calls at 6 a.m, and I'm on calls at 11 o'clock at night. And that's just the grind. We're still a startup, so it requires, everybody needs to, be engaged and pitch in at all times.
Uh, just out of curiosity, do you have any kind of stats of how you guys have done, or is that something that we don't talk about?
We don't talk about Bruno.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, I'd say this: we've grown pretty significantly, and I'd say, like, without going into like financial stats, like we kind of started out getting our foot in the door with great artists that were, like, kind of emerging, and now we're the caliber of artists that we work with, and all of our artists are great, but it's so high right now. So we've definitely grown that way. We've grown in people. Our brand has grown. We've got all sorts of, so yeah, I mean, without going too in the weeds, there's a lot of growth.
Okay. What would you say is maybe the biggest quality somebody needs, or the thing somebody needs to be a success in this industry?
Perseverance. You need to be able to take a hit and keep on going. Like, I think that's almost every industry, but especially this industry. You need to be able to just you need to get up every time you're knocked down. And that's the only way you'll succeed.
Okay.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
I think that's pretty good advice for any business. Like, it's not going to always be great. And
well, if you're going into the arts, especially, and I'm not an artist, but I work with a lot of artists. I work with a lot of successful artists, and it has to be the only thing you want to do for you to be successful. You can't compromise in it one way or the other, because it's not an overnight thing. It rarely is. It takes years and years of being, a starving artist to really make it. And even when you think you've made it, there's lots of frustrations. So it's a grind. And if you're not 100% committed to that grind, then then it's going to be hard for you.
so what makes you keep wanting to do it?
I believe in what we do. I was a lawyer for a lot of years, and being a lawyer is it's a respected job. It's an interesting job. It's a well earning job. what I didn't love about being a lawyer is that your day isn't really, you're not really building anything. You're building a case, but you're basically, your whole day is just fighting with people, whether it's, um, the person you're against, or whether it's your own client, or whether it's people, on your team. I like building something that I believe in. We put out a product. People like that product. We work with some awesome people. I believe in it. If I didn't, I'd be back. I trust me. It'd be much easier for me to be at a law firm.
I mean, that's it. The easy route is usually not the one that's going to be the most fulfilling.
Yeah. Sorry, my dishwasher just ended.
No, we didn't even hear.
Um,
What do you hope to accomplish going forward?
well, my ultimate goal is for Z2 to grow into a real player in entertainment generally, not just, I think we've already become a real player in graphic novels and comics. We've actually grown the industry because a lot of the people that read our books have never read a comic book before. So we are one of the rare companies that actually has grown the market for comics, which I love. Ultimately, we have a lot of expansion areas that we're looking into, and we want to be a media company in addition to just being a comic company. So what I want to see from us is, and it's kind of like a 3-year plan, but by the end of year 3, we're doing a lot of other things in addition to graphic novels. We just got our first TV development deal, so that was kind of cool. Now we're continuing to go.
That's very cool, and that definitely doesn't hurt the financial side of things.
Yeah, I mean, my job is to look after that. As I'm one of the few people at the company that's job isn't really creative. My job is to care about the building of the business, and so for me, where I see this thing going is becoming as an outlet to being creative partners with some of these awesome groups, going further and seeing how far we can extend that.
So what advice would you give to these guys kind of starting out in this industry?
I think don't be afraid of any opportunity. Take every opportunity you get and see where it goes. You never know where it will go. Like I said, I was a lawyer in an office, and now I'm heading a comic book company. You just don't know. So it's like, if you're really committed to this, like, work at the start at the bottom, see what opportunities you get, and work your way up. That's the only way to do it.
You guys have questions that you wanted to ask? Anything you're curious about?
Someone's required to ask a question.
Kyle,
what's the funnest comic book you ever made?
He said, what's the funnest comic book you've ever worked on or made?
I mean, well, I loved working on the Anthrax book. It's from an 80s band called Anthrax. If you guys don't know, we worked with we worked at the band. We worked with Grant Morrison. We worked with some of the biggest names, and it's just such a cool book. I love the Weird Al Yankovic project. That was such a thrill for me to work on. It's hilarious. He wrote it himself, which is really cool. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy also. I'll send a care package to your class so they can have some of our books.
Well, we appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah.
We definitely like cool new stuff.
All right, I'm gonna actually go around the room. I want everybody to tell me who their favorite musician is.
We can do that. So
can we do that? I wanna know. I've talked enough.
311. Yeah. You're wearing MCR.
I have Mike and roommates on, so actually that.
Mike Hem, we work with them.
Yeah.
Mikey Way.
In where were we? Seattle, when Mikey Way was at the booth signing autographs.
Yeah, we did. We gave away a guitar signed by him.
Was it? Gorillas, you already got that covered.
There you go. I like hearing that.
Mac Miller,
Jorge Rivera Terrence.
Jorge Rivera
Terrence.
Herons.
Mhm.
Okay. Lemon Demon.
Cool. That's up my alley.
He doesn't have one. I have.
No. Go back. Nobody, you don't get to opt out of a music. What's your favorite music?
We'll come back to you. Yeah.
Okay.
The Altons? The Altons.
Okay.
You know more of this stuff than I do, and I'm
Yeah. We're always looking.
Childish Gambino. That would
Great.
be a great one.
Yeah.
Kyle?
Tyler, the creator.
Tyler the Creator would be another great one.
Definitely.
What is it? Pierce the Veil. You have a Pierce the Veil book, don't you?
No, we don't have Pierce the Veil yet.
Okay.
We have Run the Dungeon, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Get scared.
Get Scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. What is it?
Shoegaze.
Shoegaze. She doesn't have an artist, but as genre. So the shoegaze,
Cool.
whatever that is. You probably know what that is. What is it? Lovejoy.
Mhm.
We'll come back to you. The Strokes.
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Bruno Mars. That'd be a good
There
one.
you go. Awesome.
Did you find
That's
one?
great.
Taylor Swift. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, that's a bucket list for us.
Yeah.
Guarantee you that.
Since our school is like 99% Latino or Hispanic, do you have any books in that genre? Any?
Well, Cypress Hill. Definitely. We have been talking to a lot of people and artists in that market. I don't want to say it's recorded, but there's quite a few people we're talking to there. So we have a Spanish language book with Cypress Hill. We've worked with them. It's a
huge market.
It is, and it's I think actually there's a lot of variety in your class. A lot of people like a lot of different things. It's cool. And that's what we do. We have a lot of hip hop with Chuck D and Vince Staples and Flatbush Zombies and others. We have a lot of old rock like The Doors and Elvis and Grateful Dead. We have like a lot of 80s, 90s stuff. We have a lot of EDM. We just announced something with Millennium. We worked with Major Lazer and we try to be pretty diversified because there's so much great music out there.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep up. And I think you guys are doing a pretty good job of not just focusing on the legacy acts like Dio, Grateful Dead. You've also got some pretty cutting edge groups that.
Yeah, I mean we've got a lot more to come. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. Man, I would love to have your stable of artists, like visual artists, to work with, because that is the most time consuming part, at least as far as we are concerned, is getting the actual art, which is what these guys do, is the art.
What kind of art do you guys do?
They're all doing digital art at this point. So they're working on I don't know if you can see them, but every kid has access to a Cintiq, which they basically draw on the screen. We have mobile studios now that these guys are able to use, which is basically the mobile version of these things. They all have iPads that they can use at home. So it's kind of insane the amount of technology that these guys have access to.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a totally different world than when we were growing up.
Oh yeah. Even when I was in college, like we didn't have any of this stuff. They actually have their own table at the Ontario Comic-Con, and last year they sold their children's books. And then this year we're working on an anthology where each one of them is doing a 5-page comic that we're going to put together into hopefully.
Is everybody in the class interested in comics? Does everybody in the class like it?
I would say maybe a third to half.
Okay, so those are the good ones. Got it.
The rest of them are just kind of awful students,
Nerds.
terrible people.
Absolutely.
No, it's a mixed bag because we do not just the comics and the children's books. But they're also getting certified in things like Photoshop and InDesign and a lot of the industry programs.
Yeah.
And they're gonna work on Animate this year.
Great.
Their program. So they're learning a lot of different skills, a lot of graphic design as well.
That's great. No, I mean, all looks great, and definitely send you guys some stuff of ours.
Other questions, things you want to know about
Give
this?
me some questions, guys. Anything goes.
What's the favorite artist you work with?
He said, "Who's your favorite artist that you worked with?" I'm gonna guess that this was Weird Al.
I'll give you like all of our artists are great, but yeah, Weird Al was definitely up there. Jason Derulo was really cool. I gotta say, works his butt off, and is a cool guy. I really enjoyed working with Chuck D. Really enjoyed working with Anthrax. Judas Priest, very cool to work with. I mean, musicians for the most part have been really great to work with. Really, really grateful for that.
Are you a big music guy? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I love music. I'm not like I play the guitar. I'm not in 5 bands like you, but I play, and I'm constantly listening to music. So
Do you
yeah,
think that's a big part of the reason that you got involved with this company?
probably because they had something unique to offer. Like I think that um if it was just your run of the mill comic company, like which all I know they all do great, put out great stuff, but I might not have been as interested. But we do something I think pretty unique and cool. So that's why I wanted to be part of it.
I mean, that is the trick, is trying to stick out in this industry. You've got to have something that's a little different because everybody and their brother's doing superheroes.
We're not, yeah, we don't do that. We like that's like one of I think we've broken it maybe once or twice. One of the rules of the company is no superheroes. Like Marvel and DC do that already, and they do it really well. Like the differentiation for us is that our consumer base does not, it's not so much comic fans as much as it is music fans and fans of the bands that we're talking to, and that want cool merchandise and cool stories from their favorite band or artist. So yeah, we don't really overlap. I don't really consider us to be in the same space.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Is you got to find your audience, and it doesn't necessarily overlap with the Comic-Con audience.
No.
The question is, how do you find your fan base or your readership?
I mean, it's how many millions of fans does the Gorillas have?
So
It's
how
not
do you
hard.
reach them?
Gorillas will post about them. Like, so for example, like I don't know if any of you guys know the DJ Elenium. I mean, just had an announcement with him a couple weeks ago. He posted about it. He put up art that we did that he approved of. The bands we work with and the artists we work with are really excited to be involved in this creative project, and they want to push it and they want to promote it. So Mikey Way, when he was at our table at San Diego Comic-Con, he posted about it a bunch. Same with we're doing New York Comic-Con, and we've got Guar, Hailstorm, D. Snyder, all signing. And so yeah, they're already posted about it. They're really excited to do it, and that's what we're trying to cultivate. At Czarface at our booth, and yeah, he posted probably like 4 or 5 posts about him being there, so and about his book. So there's a lot of marketing's tough, and there's a lot of ways that we're trying to do it better, but we have advantages maybe other people don't have.
I mean, that's kind of the brilliance of the model of the company, is that you are tapping into a fan base that already exists. It's kind of genius, and that's what I've always loved about what you do, is that you have a way of finding like the obvious thing that nobody else sees.
I mean, we're not the first to have done it, but I like to think we're the best to have done it because we put out the most. We put out more books than any other company like that does in our space. Like combined. And, you know, I like to think that our creative is really top notch. So, you know, it's like you said, it's not the most revolutionary idea in the world, but we put out really good product that makes the bands want to work with us. And that's what we care about.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like the product has to be good. You can't just slap some crap together and put a band on it, because then you won't have anybody else who wants to work with you.
Exactly. You want the band to be proud of what you did and want them to stand behind it. Like one of the cool things was, I think Anthrax was telling us, like, they loved our book. They kind of, like, if the album is like Anthrax 1.0 and the next album's coming out, our book is like 1.5. It's seen as a creative outlet of everything that they do. And that's really what we're going for. We got nominated for a bunch of awards, Eisner Awards. That was cool too. Our Weird Al book, our Joan Jett book, and our Tori Amos book all got nominated. That was awesome. We just won a Ringo Award. So all this stuff. Yeah, Tori, cool. Yeah, I always give you stuff whenever I see you.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely make a point to come by and see you, but not for the free stuff. You
should
are
come by when like Dee Snider's at the booth or something like that. Come by next time. Yeah.
You'll see a nerdy version of me that I don't like people to see. I nerd out like that.
Okay.
Any other things that you'd like these guys to know?
Keep with it. I mean, and everything in life, man. I mean, I don't know what any of the kids' interests are, but you know, number one, I'd say keep an open mind. You never know where life's going to take you. Be prepared for lots of ups and downs, and you'll be fine. You know, no matter what, you know, even when you're hitting those down points, you'll be okay. Just keep working through it.
Any final questions you guys have for him? Yeah. Were you interested in this stuff that you do now when you were younger?
I loved comic books. I did. I mean, I read the Marvel comic books, Daredevil, X-Men, all that, Avengers, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think the genre is really cool. I think it's one of the best storytelling devices. It's not like if you want to show a bridge exploding in a movie, it will cost you $100 million. If you want to do it in a comic book, which can convey so much action and so much drama, you can just do it, just draw it. Any of you guys can make a Michael Bay action movie right now with your tablet. That's the cool thing about it. So yeah, did I think I was going to end up being in the industry? No, I probably didn't, but I love the medium, still do.
Yeah, I remember when I met you, you were using an alias because you were a lawyer, and I won't talk about it, but yeah, I mean, it was like you were living this kind of dual life.
Yeah, it's a side hustle, man. I mean, I guess I had no expectation of that side hustle. I just liked doing it. And, you know, I liked making comics. It was fun. It was fun hanging out with one of my best friends and just, you know, having fun. And it's nice meeting people like you and meeting people that, you know, became fans. That was cool. No, but you know, I also I kind of tried to play the middle a little bit because I didn't have much interest in being a, you know, starving artist. So I wanted to, you know, at the same time, you know, I gone to law school and I'd worked as a lawyer, and that was all great. But, you know, it also let me fund my side hustle too. So I didn't have to worry about paying for it. Like that was cool too. So you kind of have to figure out a way, you know.
Right.
And I didn't have all the time in the world to devote to it, but you know, I had the advantage of being able to fund it and being able to go out there and do it.
Well, I think we are coming to the end of our time here. One last question. Anybody have anything?
I'm here.
Who was it? Oh, do you know MF Doom?
I love MF Doom. I mean, I wish I knew him. I know Esoteric pretty well. We've had him at guests. We did a Czar Facebook, and he took a lot from MF Doom. He loves him. They knew each other really well. And we've been actually trying to get that license from his estate. But yeah, we worked with ESO. I love MF Doom. I'd love to do an MF Doom book.
Hey, the question is, do you listen to the Gorillas?
Oh yeah, I love gorillas.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, it's not a dumb question at all. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of the bands I work with. I mean, I don't listen to all of them, but Gorillas is great, and Gorillas is really great for what we do because it's such a visual book. Like there are some big artists that are famous, but what they do doesn't really fit a comic book very well, and their fans might want to buy a T-shirt, but not a comic. With Gorillas, it's easy. They're artists. They love, no one can do it better than them.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know how busy you are.
Thanks for having me.
It's been pretty awesome, and I'll see you in New York.
Absolutely, and I'll definitely send me the address to send some books to.
That would be.
I'll send some to you guys. Thank you guys for having me. It was really fun, and yeah, I wish everybody lots of luck, and yeah, stick with it. There's a lot of places you'll go. Take care, guys.
Meek.